Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this is September board meeting. The year is flying by. Call this meeting to order. Want to thank the little guy in back for the cookies. Stand up and wave so everybody knows he made us cookies. Yes. He's my new best friend. I'm easily won. We'll begin with a pledge offered by, we went to a board conference and they encouraged us to use proper titles. So I was going to say Mrs. Schultz, right? And invocation offered by Mrs. Anderson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, as we gather tonight, we thank you for the opportunity to celebrate our staff and our students. We ask that your love rains down on them all year. They're in an environment to encourage learning, that our staff feels energized to create those environments, and that the decisions that we make as a board reflect our willingness for student achievement. We do this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 3.1, approval of meeting minutes. These are from August.
Motion to approve I motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Did you second?
Yep.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 4.1, financial. Shaylee, do you have anything in here we need to know other than what's presented?
No, these are standard.
Okay.
Out of the ordinary.
Any questions or discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the financials as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Call to the public. Remember, when you come up, please state your name, and then you have 3 minutes, and we'll have fun with this. Mr. Larry LeBlanc, please.
Where's the time clock? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Larry LeBlanc, and I'm a resident of Sholo. We'll begin by speaking on behalf of Jim Powell. Jim would be here, but he is currently in D.C. meeting with congressional members who are also interested in the operation of our educational system, such as this one. Mr. Powell is asking to learn about what materials are being used to teach Constitution Week. Beginning September 17th, per Public Law 108-447, Section 111. As for me, I've been working on acquiring a Bill of Rights and a Declaration of Independence, posters to place in the classrooms, as I have volunteered to do. And perhaps Dr. Farnsworth has mentioned this to you. I thought I had a good source and ordered a Bill of Rights poster. However, after receiving it, I noticed a major omission in the First Amendment. When I contacted the publisher, Jack said there was not enough space and that this right is secondary. Shame on Jack of Fence Anchor Charts. This is exactly how our Constitution is manipulated to distort its original intent. The communistic indoctrination attempt is no secret. In fact, it's been active perhaps 60 years. Together, we the people will expose and vet such negative subversion. Mr. Powell and I look forward to hearing back soon about the teaching materials for the Constitution Week. On a different subject, I also look forward to hearing of your decisions about Title IX amendment. I ask here, has anybody read the 1,577 pages of the amendment added to Title IX? It is my hope that we all work together in preserving the sovereignty of our great nation, the United States of America, and our great state of Arizona. It begins right here in our education system. Thank you. So the First Amendment has 5 rights, inalienable rights: the freedom of religion, assembly, press, and speech. What am I missing? Anybody? Thank you.
Mrs. LeBlanc, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Janet LeBlanc, a Sholo resident. The district's mission statement says, quote, "We believe that all students will and must learn at high levels of achievement. Our job is to create an environment in our classrooms that results in this higher level of performance. We are confident that with our support and help, students can master challenging academic materials, and we expect them to do so. We are prepared to work collaboratively with colleagues, students, and parents to achieve this shared educational purpose," end quote. Your belief statement and vision statement continue on in the same context. Yet, when I review the district's goals, I find these statements to be false. A passing rate of 30% in math and a 38% passing rate in English language and arts, as found in your district goals, do not match up with the district's mission statement, belief statement, or vision statement as quoted. I also find it interesting that the governing board has no goals. Please tell me how this board governs this school district without goals. I would also like to bring to this board's attention that on August 27th, over 2 weeks ago, I placed 6 public records requests. I've yet to be notified that any have been fulfilled. ARS 39-121.03 D1 states that such records shall promptly be furnished. And ARS 39-121.03 states that access to public records is deemed denied if a custodian fails to promptly respond. So is this to be my presumed answer to my public records request? And lastly, at the August 8th meeting, I left a copy of the Title IX Amendment resolution adopted by the Dysart School District asking Sholo to adopt the same. Mr. John Larson took that resolution, yet never shared it with Dr. Farnsworth as promised. There are many issues to be worked on here by this board and administration, and I hope we can work together to get it done. I would like to request that a few paper copies of the agenda and minutes be provided at the meetings as a courtesy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Sterner, please.
Board members, my name is Janelle Sterner, president of Sholo, and again, I just kind of want to go back with Constitution Week. Again, this is very important because it's coming up next week, And just a quote again, it says, why schools should implement Constitution Week. One, it's federal, and you heard the law states that if any federal schools take money, then they're supposed to go ahead and provide and implement a Constitution Day and then Constitution Week. But as George Washington said, a primary, quote, a primary object should be the education of our youth in the science of government. In a republic, that's one thing we got to realize. We are a republic, which means representatives, which you guys, you represent the people. And so in that, not a democracy, so in a republic, what specifies of knowledge can be equally important. And what duty, more pressing than communication, is to those who are to be the future guardians of liberty of the country. So again, we just want to pass that knowledge on. And again, I've been in the public schools. I am a teacher. I've been for 10 years in the public schools. I get they didn't have it back then, which was signed, but I've asked a couple of the students that I know here, and they were telling me there's not constitutions in all rooms, because that's one of the laws, is to have constitutions, and every single classroom needs to have one up on there, and that. So I'm really hoping on Tuesday, when I talk to the students, that they're going to give us positive reports saying that you guys are working on what this law says to do. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd like to remind the public that if you ever have any question on curriculum, you are more than welcome to go to the district office and get those questions answered. Dr. Farnsworth, if you would, please, I'm going to give this back to you with her name and number and whatnot as far as why she hasn't received those public records. And then would you please check back with us about Constitution being posted in the classrooms?
Absolutely.
If you would do that for us, I'd appreciate it. If you could just send us out a little note next week sometime like that, please, I'd appreciate it. And then I missed, I know you sent my name, I was writing something, I'm chewing gum also, I missed what you said about me. Could you please repeat that? You can come up to the podium.
I had stated at the August 8th meeting, I left a copy of the Title IX Amendment Resolution that was adopted by the Dysart School District, asking Sholo to adopt the same. And you took that resolution and promised to share it with Dr. Farnsworth, and you did not.
Did you not get a copy of that?
I did meet with Mrs. LeBlanc, and her husband gave me a copy, so I do have a copy from them.
Okay. I apologize if I did not get it to him. My intention was to, and I don't know why I didn't. I apologize. Well, we're moving on it, right?
I do have a copy of it, and they gave me a copy.
Okay, super. Thank you. All right. Item 6.1, student and staff recognition.
So, Mrs. Starkle, if you could come up with your Whipple fan club so we could recognize some of our students and a teacher.
Mrs. Douglas couldn't be here tonight. Her daughter has a soccer game. So the teacher that we're going to recognize tonight is Ashley Ariano.
Ashley, are you here? Where are you? Ashley, come up here. Ashley, Jacob.
The teacher we're celebrating tonight is Ashley Ariano. Ashley is known for thoughtfulness, dedication, generosity, and quiet presence. Her colleagues describe her as smart, funny, compassionate, efficient, understanding, cheerful, happy, calm, precise, knowledgeable, caring, and is also a problem solver. And this is written by Mrs. Douglas. When I told Mrs. Ariano that she was chosen as the WRE's legendary teacher, she replied, "Isn't there somebody more deserving than me?" And her response was no. I've watched Ashley grow from being a PE parrot, and I didn't know that, For Whipple, to a student teacher and now a first grade teacher. I couldn't be more proud of the teacher that she's become, and I'm excited to see what lies ahead for her. I know that some days and even weeks are hard, but Ashley keeps pushing through, and you can see the passion for teaching when you walk into her classroom and watch her interaction with her students. So we're very grateful to have her.
No, stay here. Stay
Oh.
here. We're gonna do a picture in a
I
minute.
tried so hard to let her go sit down, but okay. One of the students that we're going to talk about is Jack Blanchard. Come on down, Jack. Jack is one of my favorite human beings. He lives across the street from me, so we get to see each other.
Nice.
When you meet Jack, you will see that he loves life and his joy is infectious. He is funny and his comedic timing is on point. He is competitive. He enjoys playing football and reading. He is smart and retains everything he hears, both good and bad. He is always willing to help, whether it is in a class member or a teacher. Jack is outgoing. He's friendly to all and has never met a stranger. He has proven himself to be a leader among our students. Kylie is one of the kindest kids in our school.
Kylie, come on down.
She's one of the kindest kids in our school. We never see her without a smile on her face. She is one of the best big sisters in the school and is always making sure her brother knows where to go and what to do. It is really funny to watch her boss him around. She is another student that when you are around her, you feel better and happier. She is a bright light who loves life, and her positivity is infectious. She wants what is best for those around her and will go out of her way to make sure others are taken care of. She has proven herself to be a great leader among our students. Did you? There it is.
We would like to take a picture in front. I don't know if the board would want to come down or if you guys, how do you want to do this? Moms and dads, if you want to come up, you want to take pictures, we're going to stand right here. So.
Charlotte's.
There. Are those bags in the way or do we need it? Okay. These both get it?
She really does.
Congratulations and thank you so much. We're so appreciative of what you do for our children, and then it's so obvious when we have such wonderful kids like that. How great they are. We're extremely grateful for that. 6.2, Governing Board Letter to the Community. If you'll allow me a few moments to read this. This is in response to some unfortunate incidents we've had recently and in the past with public interaction with some of our teachers and staff. Dear Show Low Unified School District community, as partners in the education and well-being of our students, the Show Low Unified School District Governing Board is deeply committed to fostering a positive, respectful, and professional environment for for everyone within our schools. Our shared goal is to create a supportive atmosphere where students, staff, and families can work together for the success of our children. We recognize that open communication and collaboration between the school and the community are essential. However, it is equally important that all interactions, whether in person, via email, text, message, or over the phone, are conducted with respect and professionalism. Expectations for conduct are professionalism. All communications and interactions with school staff should be courteous, constructive, and focused on solutions. Unprofessional behavior such as disrespectful language, personal attacks, or aggressive conduct is not acceptable. Respect. We expect all members of our school community to treat each other with dignity and respect. This includes refraining from argumentative or confrontational behavior, which can undermine the positive environment we strive to maintain. Zero tolerance for harassment. Harassment of any kind towards school staff, students, or other community members will not be tolerated. This includes any behavior that could be considered intimidating, threatening, or unwelcoming. Athletics. We invite our community while attending athletic events to refrain from vulgar interactions between other fans, coaches, referees, and visiting teams. We are counting on all community members to remain respectful and positive while cheering on our student athletes. Belligerent, distracting, or vulgar behavior is not acceptable. Consequences. Any behavior that is deemed unprofessional, argumentative, or harassing may lead to disciplinary action, which could include restricting access to school property, involvement of law enforcement, or other measures as necessary to protect the integrity of our educational environment. Individuals who disturb the family-friendly environment of our athletic events may be removed and face disciplinary action, which may include being banned from future school events. Staff recourse. To the Show Low Unified School District staff, should you ever be the victim of any of the behaviors listed above or be marginalized by a member of the community, please make a report with your immediate supervisor of the incident. Moving forward, you, your supervisor, and the superintendent will work collaboratively in addressing the misconduct. You are a valuable member of this district, and you are not expected to tolerate any misconduct from community members for any reason. We ask for your continued cooperation and commitment to these standards as we work together to create a positive and respectful school community. Our mutual respect and professionalism are vital to ensuring that our schools remain a place where everyone feels welcomed, valued, and supported. Thank you for your understanding and partnership in this important matter. Sincerely, the Show Low Unified School District Governing Board. Item 6.3, curriculum commitments. Ms. Cosgray?
Hello, thank you for having me. We've gone through a reboot, basically, of our BT commitments. And as such, we wanted to present to you our commitments as a document that we've all agreed on. A short, brief history. We adopted Beyond Textbooks as our viable curriculum 2016. And a document was created at that time, and the board approved it, presented it, and it was displayed in all classrooms. That's the one you have that looks like this. This was our starting point. We've had leadership changes at the schools, at the district level, and as such, we really felt like it was time to refresh our commitment to Beyond Textbooks as our curriculum. So we had a BT reboot session where leaders from the Beyond Textbooks came and presented, basically acted as if we were fresh to Beyond Textbooks, but knowing that we had some experience with it. 3 of you were there. Thank you so much for attending. It was amazing to have you there. We analyzed our curriculum needs and where we're going from today. We talked about the current climate and where we were with the old document compared to where we're going forward. It was decided at that July meeting that administrators really wanted to go back to their staff and get their input Because without input, you don't have buy-in, and without buy-in, everything will fall apart. So we allowed the school year to start. Administrators went back to their staff and said, where are we? What are we doing with Beyond Textbooks? And we came back together as an administrative team, and we facilitated a consensus meeting. And everybody from all the sites shared what their commitments were, from their administrative level down to their school level. And we identified what the common commitments were across the schools. We basically mapped them out on the whiteboard and said, what are we doing? How does it look at that school? How does it look at that school? And we saw what are the same things? What are we all doing? Then we integrated those into our commitments. So we wanted to take the old document, create a new document. And interestingly, much of what we discussed was things that we were already committed to, but with little tweaks. So we changed the title from Points of Pride. Very wisely, one of our administrators said, these things we are proud of, but they're not all that we're proud of. So maybe that's something we want to save for a different document or a different statement. So we really changed the title to what it is. It's our curriculum commitments. So these are the commitments we're making to the curriculum in our district. The primary changes were the new title. Under the third bullet, we were using daily math skills, which is an element of Beyond Textbooks, but we've also brought in another product called Spring Math, which is basically daily math skills on steroids. It gives teachers the opportunity to pull from the information that they've gathered and have interventions for the students who need them. And it's very quick, very easy for teachers to use. But they still have the old classic daily math skills that they can go back to. And for those who don't know, daily math skills is like that timed 3 minutes, like how many can you get done for fluency in math. The other thing was that we added science common formatives to our commitment because Beyond Textbooks has added common formative assessments in science, which is fantastic for our science teachers. They didn't have a lot of that information before, and now they have it at their fingertips. The other thing was that we've expanded our reteach model from saying that we were supporting reteach was to support mastery. What we've changed it to is we want it to support student proficiency. We want all of our students to be proficient in the standards that we're teaching. Some students will have mastery. They will be above and beyond, but really what we want is for all students to have proficiency so that they can be successful in their life. And then the last thing was we changed the wording in the specific materials from specific standards to essential standards. Essential standards are those standards that a student cannot leave one grade level without mastery or proficiency to go to the next grade level. Because if they go to the next grade level without that standard at proficiency, they're already behind. So we're really focusing on those essential standards that need the most weight behind them. The other thing, our expectations for this year, our primary goal is for everybody in the district to be utilizing the unwrapped document. The unwrapped document takes the essential standard, for those of you who are there, you know this, and really breaks it down to all of the pieces and parts that need to be included in the instruction. We want to focus on improved student outcomes using those unwrapped documents and implementing our updated commitments to Spring Math, the common formatives in science, and the reteach model for proficiency. We're supporting our teachers and our administrators with professional development, check-ins, data reviews, classroom observations for progress. Call to action, student success is our primary goal. That's why we're here. We wouldn't be doing it if it weren't for these kiddos. BT ensures an access to a guaranteed and viable curriculum. That means that a student comes into a grade level and is able to access all of the content that is expected from the state before moving on to the next level. Not all standards are equal. Some are more essential than others. There are standards that support those essential standards, but all standards need to be addressed within the school year. So, moving forward, we would like to present to you our new curriculum commitments document. Very small changes from the original, but this is where we are today. Any questions from the board?
Just thank you for inviting us to the reboot in July with Beyond Textbooks. I found it very helpful. I understand what you're saying a lot more because I attended that and learned a lot about it, and I'm glad to have more knowledge that all the teachers are needing to work with. It's better for us to have that knowledge. So thank you for sharing.
They were so happy to have you there. And they do this all the time, and very few times do they see board members in attendance.
Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item 6.4, principal reports. There's no action here. Is there a principal here that needs to comment on their report or any questions, comments?
I would just like to thank them for preparing these documents for us. It's a nice way for us to have an idea what's going on, and also a way for the public to be able to access those and kind of see what's going on across the different schools. So really appreciate the extra time it probably takes you to do that every month. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. That's really a good thing, and I know it takes work to do it, but it's very much appreciated.
Where are our principals? Raise your hand. 3 of them. So they're okay. All right. Thank you so much. This really is informative for us to get a. I don't want to say a 10,000-foot view, but a view of what's going on. So thank you so much.
Keep the pulse a little bit better.
Yeah. 6.5, Superintendent Report. Dr. Farnsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Board President and governing board members. You have my report in front of you, and there's a few items I would like to just highlight. First of all, it was a pleasure that the board president and board member, Ms. Anderson, went to the ASBA conference, the 3 of us. We attended sessions, and it was a great learning experience. And also, board member Anderson, she's our ASBA delegate. So thank you for doing that service. I've attended the Navapache Superintendent Consortium in Snowflake. It's kind of a list of things that I'm kind of working on. The trust, I was able to meet with Jim Walker and kind of review our coverage, but also services that we were able to connect with our new director of operations and making sure he has access to professional development. I'm working with our campus principals, and they're very busy, and I just want to thank all of them for their reports. And they are very aware of Constitution Week next week, and we've discussed it multiple times, and they have plans to implement Constitution Week. And I'm sure next month when we have their principal reports, they will be highlighting those activities. So thank you, principals, for taking care of that. Also, I want to thank the city of Show Low and also Perkins Cinders for their work in our baseball field. A lot of donated man hours, donated materials, donated money, and I appreciate, and I'm sure there's other people I'm forgetting, but I just want to say a thank you to all of them for their work on our baseball infield. We have taken our emergency management plan. We actually had a safety meeting yesterday with law enforcement and all the leadership team. The emergency management plan has been submitted for the trust for review. I did get feedback from the trust on things that we need to change, and I hope to bring those changes to the board for adoption on October 3rd for your approval of our emergency management system. Multiple meetings introducing our new director of operations with custodian, maintenance, city officials, ADOT. There is going to be some road closures coming up, and so our new director of operations, he's in line to get those information briefs and making sure our bus routes are not going to be impacted too terribly. I've visited with our SRO supervisor, trying to work with the superintendent in Holbrook, who's been fantastic. He and his team has helped coach our team on facilities and making sure we're navigating the grant management system for our our existing facilities. And then I think last of all, the auditors, that's always a good note to end on. Our auditors are coming to the district. They're going to be here October the 2nd through the 4th, which is a huge undertaking. They literally set up shop in the district office, and they will be asking Shaylee and her team for documents and evidence, and that's a standard process. So I know she and her team are prepping for that, but that's going to be a big, big undertaking for them. And last of all, our next school board meeting is October 3rd. We're moving it up a week because of fall break.
Please take note of that.
During the audit, that'll be a great week.
That's going to be a fantastic week, yes. Thank you for pointing that out.
Tell them they're required to come to the meeting.
Karen will be here.
Oh, cool. Great. Okay. Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Item 7.1. So, do you want to take this or do you want me to? Okay, super.
Oh, you want me to talk? Okay.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday at our executive meeting, we had a meeting with Dr. Farnsworth and Tim Ogle from the ASA, who is our consultant, and we discussed the superintendent evaluation and goals. We came up with a plan for how we're going to do his evaluation. We started to work on what the superintendent goals will be, and I believe what we decided was that needs a little bit more work that we will do and have the specific goals for approval in, was it in October or November? I think it was November that we talked about, to give, the October meeting's very soon. So we'll do that for November. We're going to be utilizing I don't think I brought it with me, the evaluative tool that the Arizona School Board Association has available that is very research-based in the way that it evaluates superintendents. And so we talked about what our process will be and the timeline, that we'll have a check-in in January, more informal, and then we'll have the formal evaluation at the end of the year, somewhere around May or June, I think is what we talked about, probably June, but we'll see as we get closer. So that is our plan for that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. For your information, at that meeting, it's going to be hard for me to call you Mrs. Schultz now after calling you Mr. all this time. But Mrs. Schultz graciously offered to work on this with the superintendent on behalf of the board. So
To work on the goals.
yes, we're really appreciative of that.
Did Tim say we needed to make a motion to
I don't
have
think-
me be the person doing that? I
I
thought.
don't think so.
No? Okay.
No, I don't think that's a.
Don't we have to vote to delegate me to do that? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. That works for me then.
If we figure out we do, then we'll hit you up here
Okay.
quick. So we'll figure it out. 7.2, classified personnel employment. Dr. Farnsworth, please.
As you can see, there's been some turnover, and so those are the names that we're recommending, and as well as a slew of substitutes. I was talking with HR today, and we're looking at our onboarding for Monday and Tuesday, I think around 16, 17 people for the onboarding process. So I do want to publicly thank Nikki for putting together an onboarding process, and we're going to be doing that. It'll be our first kind of official onboard program that the district has had in a long time. So happy that that's taking place, but those are the names and recommendations.
To approve the classified employment actions as presented.
I'll second with enthusiasm. Welcome to the team.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 7.3, classified personnel transfers, resignations, and terminations. Dr. Farnsworth, please.
So we do have, as I stated earlier, some transition, and there is one individual that we're recommending for termination as outlined, and you have the documents for that. And we recommend that you approve these as presented.
I move to approve the classified employment actions as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion at all? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 7.4, certified personnel employment. Dr. Farnsworth.
Pretty straightforward. Do you have any questions?
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the certified employment as presented.
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 7.5, certified personnel transfer. No, did we do that one? No, certified personnel transfers, resignations, terminations. Dr. Farnsworth, sorry.
So unfortunately, we have had 2 teachers that have left unexpectedly. And so you can see our recommendations with those employees. And we are putting together plans to mitigate any gaps in instruction. And there's another agenda item that, will relate to special education consulting services that relate to that. And so recommend that you approve those as recommended.
I'll move we approve, I lost my place. I move we approve the certified personnel transfers, resignations, and terminations due to Dr. Farnsworth's request.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion at all? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.6, activities, personnel, employment. Dr. Farnsworth.
Again, just these are coaches that are coming up different times of the year for different sports and recommend that you approve as presented.
I move to approve the activity positions and employment as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.7, administrative personnel transfers, resignations, and terminations. Dr. Farnsworth.
This employee is retiring so that they could also start drawing their retirement, but also work with ESI, which is a common practice. We're thankful that they're staying with the district. He does a phenomenal job and is a great resource to our district.
I move to approve the administrative employment information as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.8, political agenda of the Arizona School Boards Association.
So they didn't add anything new from the draft, and everything got passed on Saturday. So when they send the finalized copy, we can post that on the agenda, on the website or the agenda, and approve it for the agenda. This is just for you guys to look at. We're talking about at the law conference, they have a delegate assembly. For every school can have a delegate, and all districts can have input on the political agenda. So this is what the agenda was that we voted on, and everything that's on this agenda passed. So this will be what ASBA will do with the legislature for the 24-25 school year.
Thank you, Stacy.
I move to approve the political agenda of the Arizona School Boards Association as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. If possible, if the folks running the TV station, if there's an ability to turn up the volume or help us to be heard a little bit better, I'd appreciate that. Item 7.9, second reading of model policies and procedures. Dr. Farnsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. We have close to 20 model policy suggestions. This is the second reading. So last month we had a first reading. So I recommend that we approve the policy adjustments as notated in these recommendations from the trust.
You want us to list all of them to approve them?
I think you could approve them as a body.
I move to approve the model policy programs and procedures as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item 7.10, transportation supervisor position. Dr. Farnsworth.
As we've been looking at the structure and framework of the district and who's doing what, we discovered that years ago, 3-4 years ago, we used to have a transportation supervisor. And as when we hired our new director of operations, we were looking at all the different aspects of that job: transportation, maintenance, safety, building renewal, and it's very comprehensive. Based upon what we used to have in this district, and based upon the need that we have, and based upon the consultation with our business manager to see, do we have the ability to fund this position, which we do. I'm recommending that we adopt this job description. We've talked to several districts around the area to see what job descriptions, what does it look like, what should it encompass, and this would be our recommendation, that we bring back this job to help on the transportation side, so there's a direct supervisor over the safety, security, and transportation of our kids and our buses.
Any discussion on this?
Well, that's a big deal. I mean, we should have had that for,
We used to have it. And
we should
Yeah,
have
I'm
had
glad to
that.
see it back.
Yeah.
It's an important position, and I think you don't want this stuff to slip through the cracks because he has too many other balls in the air. So I'm glad we'll have someone that will be really in charge of making sure that these kids are safe on our buses. As a mother of 3 kids on the buses.
Stacy, do you have any?
Nope, I think it's great. I don't think people realize all the work our facilities director has and all the projects we have going on.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of dollars, so it's one less thing they have to worry about.
Dr. Farnsworth, can you tell us what the plan would be, pending approval, what the plan would be of posting this job, how long it would be open, any of that kind of stuff? And if that's not...
No, it's totally appropriate. So assuming the board would approve the job description, then tomorrow we would post the job. In my mind, standard protocol, leave it open for 2 weeks. If we get a great turnout of applicants after 8, 9, 10 days, then we could probably speed up the timeline, but typically leave it open for 2 weeks, see what we have, and then go forward with interviews at that point.
Great. Well, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the transportation supervisor position as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 7.11, creation of new SPED teaching position for RISE program.
Yes, thank you. Again, when we looking at is this Beth? Were you planning on talking?
I don't need to.
Maybe you should come up. I trust her more than I trust myself.
Well, your name's after this, so that's why I apologize.
Hi, good evening. It's a combination of things as our program is meeting needs of students in our district, and that need is always increasing, and then also to remain in compliance with the requirements that Department of Ed has specifically for this program and the needs of our students. We need to maintain a certain ratio. So we worked with Ms. Davis, looked at the capacity of our program, the funding that it brings in, and determined that we had the capacity. So we will advertise if it is approved and look for another teacher to join our team.
And if I'm remembering correctly from when I reached out to you a few days ago for additional information, one of the issues is that since we have 3 different grade bands, it used to be that with the legislation that you could have 1 teacher for 2 different grade bands, but now they require a teacher for each grade band. So since there are 3 grade bands, we need 3 teachers, and right now we only have 2. So that's pretty cut and dry as to why we really are required to have that.
Yes. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We'd like to visit sometime, I think. It'd be great, once you get the new person going, it'd be nice to come have a visit. It's been a while.
Good idea. I'll entertain a motion if there's no further discussion.
Go ahead.
I move to approve the special education teaching position for RISE program as presented.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.12, contracted services with Johnson Young and Associates. Your name is attached to this one too.
Thank you, Director Marsh. I did not give you heads up, which is on me, but if you have questions, she could probably answer them, but I'll kind of wave into this pool for a minute. Because of a recent resignation in our special education department, it is apparent that the caseload and the requirements required by special education, which is a federal requirement, this is a heavy thing that we have to lift. And we need services that we are going to contract with to come in and fulfill these requirements in addition to what we're already providing. So we can meet the requirements legally and also provide the kids what they need to be getting. And so securing a contractor to provide some of these services while we're looking for a replacement for the special ed teacher that recently resigned is very, very necessary. Do you have anything to add, Beth?
No, just, it's also helping to support we have a very green department right now, so this is helping support me to support my teachers with training.
Yeah, it sounded like there's going to be a lot of training and going on with this contract, which is great. Go ahead.
I was just saying, any other questions or discussion?
I move to approve the contracted services with Johnson Young and Associates as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.13, staff out-of-state travel. Dr. Farnsworth.
We are asking the board's permission to approve that Reagan Roach, our WMI administrator, if you will, attend this conference for dropout prevention. And it's in Louisiana.
I move to approve the staff out-of-state travel for Reagan Roach as presented.
I'll second. I looked a little bit at the conference. It looks amazing. Hopefully she'll learn a lot that can benefit our students.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Item 7.14, gifts and donations. You want me to read these off? Sure. So we have a donation from, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Ohio Pile?
Ohio Pile Prints, Inc.
Maybe.
We have one from Highline Vending. Another one from Highline Vending. Step Propane. And Jennifer Bigos. Want to express gratitude to all of them for their donations and helping us to be successful.
Second that.
I move to approve all gifts and donations as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.15, Student Club. Dr. Farnsworth.
We are recommending and asking the board for approval of a new club at the high school. It's nicknamed as HOSA, but it's for our health occupational students that are in different health tracks at the high school. Every CTE course is supposed to have a CTSO, a student organization where they can go and either go into competitions or get job training or on the real world experiences. So HOSA does that for our health professionals at the high school.
That sounds great. I move to approve the Student Club HOSA as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.16, student fundraising activity. Dr. Farnsworth.
We have several fundraisers, 2 by the high school choir, 2 by the high school student council, and the Nicholas Homestead Student Council. And we approve that each one is a great fundraiser and recommend that you approve those so that they could fund those different activities.
I move to approve fundraising activities as presented.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Did you say FBLA? Or did you miss that one?
I did not say FBLA, but I did say Student Council and
Okay.
FBLA, yes, correct.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.17, future board agenda items. Does anybody have anything? If I may, one thing I forgot to ask you after call to the public, it was stated that the board does not have any goals. Would you please make those available to the website, wherever else, and everywhere else?
We used to have our goals on the website.
I think they're on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not,
anymore?
I'm not sure why they're not seeing that, but if you would make sure that they're there, I'd appreciate that. Then we would know that we're on board with goals. Also, when the time comes and we talk about, okay, there you go.
But then when you click on it,
Was that
it
right
doesn't
above
work.
my bald head?
But see, when you see, they used to be there, but now when you click on it,
Oh.
it says access denied.
Okay.
So they used to click to it, so now
Can we
something's wrong
check
with the website.
Can we check that, por favor?
Absolutely.
Also, when it comes to the baseball field, when that's all said and done, I don't want to miss anybody who helped with that. If you could let us know who that is, so that we express appropriate gratitude. Anybody else have anything?
I have a quick question. So on out-of-state travel for staff, would you like us to bring that to your approval? For, if staff members were going for trainings and it's out of state, is that something you would like to see on board agendas?
I want to
I know
say yes.
students we have.
I want to say yes. I want to say we haven't had anybody go anywhere in quite
It
some
should be
time.
just local,
But
maybe.
I'm assuming the issue is there's going to be funds spent there that either we're going to reimburse or straight up pay for, and so that ought to come before us.
You got it. I just wanted to double
Does that
check.
make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Am I off?
Right on.
All right. Anything else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anybody going to argue about it? Just a reminder, our next meeting is October 3rd, which is a week earlier than normal. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? There we go. Thank you. Thank you all for coming out.